Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Austin's 4L60E build. Okay, so if you've seen the thumbnail, I've got everything set up. I'm going to show you how to partially assemble. Well, I mean, you guys should know how to assemble this, but partially assemble it and do air checks on the clutches before you put it in the case. That way you know for sure if you get a leak somewhere on your Teflon seal, anything like that, that you can fix it before you put everything together and find out, oh, well, I guess what? I got to take it back apart again. So if this is kind of content you like, make sure to smash that thumbs up and leave me a comment. You guys, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps YouTube's algorithm pick it up and share it with a bunch of other people. So please consider subscribing down there in the bottom. I would greatly appreciate that also. With that being said, let's get rolling on this portion of it. Here we go. So you're probably thinking, why has he got a sun shell out? Well, here's the trick. The sun shell can be used as a stand. So just flip your pump upside down like that. And what the deal is you can put all of your clutch together without the input shaft smacking the cabinet. It just works real good. Okay, and if you've noticed right here, I've got them marked for you. This is the reverse. This one's the 3/4. That one's the forward. This is the overrun. So when you test the overrun, you put your finger over the forward, and you shouldn't have the forward clutch applied, just the overrun. And then this hole up here is just the verification that you put your filter in, which is right here. If you put too much air to this dude, it will blow that filter out. Ask me how I know. But anyway, so go ahead and put your and you're gonna have to size these if you've had them sitting for a while. So go ahead and put your sizer on there. Slide your sizer on your input housing and let it sit there for a couple of minutes. And while that's doing that, there's going to be an intermission. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. I know to you it's like nothing. Get that on there. Slide your reverse input housing on there. Then you can put your input housing in. You know what? It's going to be an easier way to do this. Since you need to have the bearing in there anyway for proper stuff. Flip that over. Get that dude set on there. There we go. You get that on there. Put your pump on. We'll go ahead and do a little dab in our holes to hold our washer on. There we go. Slide that on like that. And go ahead and just sit your now see, that's the other reason why I left this seal out too, is if you leave this seal out, this thing will sit, this piece here will sit right down in there, won't damage your seal. Just like, ooh, that was a good sound. Okay, and we've just been on a trip and I don't know what I did with my good blow nozzle, so I will use this heapy cheapy. Alright, so here's your 3-4. Good solid apply. Ooh. Again, your 3-4. Okay, this one here is your forward. I don't like this one because it doesn't seal as well. And then you get your reverse input. And that little bit of air that you're hearing is the bleed orifices on there. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it. The pump will put more pressure on it. So to check your overrun, hold your finger over the forward hole and go in the overrun. That's good and solid. See, if you do it, you can feel the air coming out of the forward, which is normal. And that's just the air leaking past my blow nozzle. Again, if you want to check to make sure that you got your filter in, remember I told you that that'll blow out. So if I put air to that, well, it's not doing it now. Interesting. Okay, well anyway, again, your reverse, 3-4, forward, plug your forward, and there's your overrun. So if you can test individual if you want, but you got to have both pieces together to be able to test the input housing. So if you pull this out, you can actually see your reverse actuate. Now guys, this has got an orificed bleed. What that means is there is a bleed hole on the reverse piston, and when it applies pressure, it blocks that hole. So you will hear air coming across that, because I'm not going to put enough, I don't want to put that much air pressure. My compressor is 175 psi and it's unregulated, but I'm used to it, so I can control it with my hand somewhat. So anyway, that's how you test that. That being said, we are ready to put this stuff in, except for a few minor details. Number one, we need to put our seal in here. And then we need to get the gasket for that. Now somewhere around 06, they started using this style of pump seal. And it basically, it sits right here. But the pump cases, the case has got to be machined for this type of seal to work. And I know later model, some guys have used a later model case to where you can use this seal and the gasket. They'll use a different pump body, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but to me I think it's a little overkill. I mean, they've built these things this way so long and it works. So, okay, there's one gasket for that. And your pump O-ring has always got a stripe on it, whether or not it be orange or yellow, but most of the time they're yellow. Okay, so give some lube on this. Remember, you don't want to put your seals together dry, because when you put the stuff in the case, you run a risk of tearing it if it doesn't want to give. You know, you'd rather the seal give than it to bite, and you know what I mean. And then just sit that in that groove. Alright, we'll put our front seal in after we get everything in the case. Alright, so here we go. We'll first put our input housing in. And I finally get to use my new tool that Hybrid Muscle Garage made me. And it's there. Alright, next our reverse input housing. Again, we get to use the tool. Alright, it's all the way down except for, there it goes. It's still not down far enough. This drum here should be below this top line, so there, the input housing just dropped down another notch, and so did our drum. So this tool is, thanks a bunch, Hybrid Muscle. I really appreciate that. Sure, a lot easier on the fingers. All right, now we need to stick our band in. All right. There's that. And grab you a trusty screwdriver, one that you like, to reach in there in your band anchor hole. And pull that opening over to where you can get your band anchor in. Just stick a screwdriver right down there gently without tearing up the material. There you go. Alright, now I'm going to put a drill bit in one of the holes, my long drill bit. That way it will line up both the gasket and the pump. And of course I've got it upside down. Set that dude in there. And slide your pump down. Man, that's beautiful. That dude went in super smooth. Alright, we're just going to put a bolt down in there. Grab you the butt of a good hammer. And that dude is in there. Now we'll grab this thing again. We can turn it with ease. And that's that one-way roller clutch that you're hearing at the bottom of the case. Alright, now I haven't changed these gaskets yet, but all I want to do is just run these down till they're snug. Okay? Because I want to check my end play, which is excessive. I mean, just by feel you can tell that that's too much. And you can see it moving. Just watching how much this moves. That end play is excessive. I don't even have to get a gauge out to tell you that's too much. So, what we need to do is we need to change. This has already got a 70 washer in it. So, Sonnax gives you this nifty shims. These right here. And we're going to put one or maybe both of those underneath that bearing in the front. Our rear end play seems a little excessive too, so let's pop this pump back out of here. Okay, if you're gentle with it, you can get this out without tearing the gasket up. Okay, there's that. Alright, pull your gasket back out. Go ahead and knock your band anchor back out. Give yourself some extra leeway. Well, that didn't want to come out. Alright, I already pulled everything out. Here's your two washer and a shim. We already got a 70 in it, which is a lot for one of these. But what we're going to do, I'm going to pull this dude apart right here. And we can put one or both of those down there. These are 10,000ths each. We're going to go ahead and put both of them in there. Put your washer back on, and then your bearing, and back in the case it goes. Maybe we can get lucky and this thing will sit right down on there this time. There we go. Nice good solid thud. Reverse input housing. Okay. Her band back in. All right. Band anchor. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Drill bit trick. Right there. Gasket. And let's put our pump on again. Give her a taparooski. Alright. Run a couple of our bolts down. Still got good movement. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, right now I've got about between 5 and 10 thousandths in front shaft in play, which is perfect. I'm happy with that. All right, now that we've got our input shaft in play correct, we're going to address the rear. Now I know I'm doing this kind of backwards. I've had some people ask me about this. The end play on this here, that is a little excessive. The spec is 20 to 30 thousandths. And what that is spline wear. Not, well, I say it's spline wear, but we've got aftermarket parts in here. And I've got a late model reaction shaft. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and buzz this thing back apart. And we're going to look at the reaction shaft. Gasket back out. All right. So we need to look at the reaction shaft and see what we can do here. So let's get our favorite pair of pliers, snap ring pliers here. Pop this snap ring out. Before we go any further, we're going to put our shaft holder so we can do this without losing our output shaft out the back. There we go. All right. Okay, here's the difference. This transmission is set up for this is the original upper planetary set out of this transmission. This is a late model reaction shaft. Okay. Yep. All right, I want you to look at these two real close. You notice the one on the left has an extra step in the center. The one on the right does not. Okay? The one on the right, and there's a critter in there. Not no more. The one on the right is a 2007 and up reaction shaft, where this is a 2006 and older. And the difference is, what they did is they machined this pocket down here deeper, right here. And so it's going to have extra clearance in it for a revised bearing. Now, I didn't put the revised bearing in it, but I'm going to get one, and I'll show you the difference in the two. There's another way to do this. See if I can, if we get lucky here, yeah, that would work. Okay, so the difference is this pocket is 30 thousandths deeper. Okay. So I've got these two shims that Sonnax sends, and they should be 15 thousandths a piece. And I have got roughly 20 thousandths, so they're 2 10 thousandths a piece. So I could do that, or I could get the bearing. So ideally, we should get the bearing, which is what we're going to do. So well, let's see where we sit with these two washers in there. Alright, put that in there. Put our snap ring back in. see where we're at. Yeah, that's still pretty excessive. Alright, so let's get the bearing. We'll snug that up and go for there. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to show you this here without being in the case. That way you can see. Okay, again, this is an 06 and older reaction shaft, even though it is set up for a roller bearing on the bottom. And this is an 07 and up reaction shaft. Here is the bearing that goes with this reaction shaft, and you notice it's black on one side, silver on the other, and it would go black side down. So what they did when they made this, so they cut this pocket like 30 thousandths deeper. Well, that's going to change your in-play clearance on your output shaft. To remedy that, they came up with this bearing here. You notice it's got a lip on the top. Yeah, I know it's not focusing real good, but there. A lot of times you put your hand behind it, you can see it better. There you go. See, that's got the lip on the top. This one would be silver side down and the black side up. Now it would work with any of the front planetaries. It's going to sit down in there like that, and that will change your clearance. So just because this thing has got some wear to it, we're going to put one of these 10,000 shims underneath of it, and we're going to check it that way first. So it's going to go underneath here. Put that there, and then our planetary will sit right on top of it. Like that. So we're going to give the old, we're going to put the thing in there first, and I'm going to lube this bearing up because it's drier than a popcorn fart. Oh yeah, the part number for that bearing 24 23 60 92. I bought extras so I could have them. So my other ones that I didn't have a problem with the, oh yeah, now that baby's smooth as glass. I didn't need it because my end play was right. This one, however, was not. Alright, so got that in. Oh, you know what? I think the bearing fell off the bottom. Yep. Don't want to forget that bearing right there. And it fell off again. Problem with making sure everything's lubed up is it will try to wash off your assembly lube. And you know, this assembly lube's the low melting point too, so I find it easier to work with. There we go. There's that. Stuff our bearing back down in there. our planetary set. Okay, let's see where we sit with our end play now. Our snap ring back down in there. Let's try to do this one-handed, see how this works. I'm a betting it's not going to, but we'll give her a shot. Gonna have to have 2 fingers. Well, more than 2 fingers. All right. So, oh, there it goes. This may be just about right. Okay, well, that bearing's going to make all the difference in the world, so I got to take that shim out because that shim's not going to work under there, which is fine. So let's take our shim back out. Put our bearing back in there. Well, surely that bearing didn't make that big a difference. Interesting. All right, y'all. So with several trials and tribulations off camera, I come up to the conclusion as what I did on this is I found a known good reaction shaft that had very minimal wear on it, and I put a correct one in there, and then I still put the 2 shims underneath the gear so I could get my end play better. And if you can hear that, it's very minimal. You might be able to see it on camera too. So now my movement is minimal at best. Now that's moving the whole thing. That's not spline wear. That will be gone when I put the top half together. So yeah, I just wasn't getting the clearance I needed. So we're good now. So now let's put the rest of it back together. All right, let's put this. I'm gonna try to put this whole housing in together. Do believe that's all the way down. Guess we'll find out shortly. I mean, it looks like it's all the way down, so. Okay, let's put our band in there. Our makeshift alignment dowel there, and a pump. Make sure we got movement. That feels good. Run our 2 bolts down just to make sure that we've got good clearance. Feels good. Okay. I have changed the clearance in this thing, so what I'm going to do, doing all those bearing changes and stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run all these bolts down and torque them, and we're going to find out if I need to readjust the clearance. I mean, I can turn it pretty easy, but it has minimal clearance or minimal movement. And these are 18 foot-pounds. All right, let's see where we're at. I can still turn it very easily. I think we're going to go ahead and take the shim. We're going to take the shim out of the that I put in that was underneath the input housing bearing. The only thing I'm worried about leaving them that tight is that when as things warm up, that stuff will expand. Show you what I'm doing here. I put a shim underneath this bearing right here, but I honestly don't think we're going to need it. So pull that out, pull our washer out, and you're probably saying, why didn't you just change the washer? Well, I could do that, yes, or I can use the same washer and just put the shim underneath of it. There we go, one shim. Yeah, I'd put two of them in there, so just take one out, should be perfect. That back in there, put that bearing back in there. All right, back in we go. I love this tool. This is the best thing anybody ever made for me. All right. You gotta be getting good at this after seeing me do this so many times. But yeah, I'd say we're good. Alright, so we got all our bolts with all our seals replaced. One right down in that groove right there. So this will be the final torque down. That feels even better. Okay, we have a front seal we need to put in. That dude right there. Put our installer on here. Beautiful. Get ourselves a new retainer. Yeah, it's got a little surface rust on it, but that's not going to hurt anything. There's that. Now we need our seal ring for our torque converter, and that will be this orange can't really see it with my glove, but it's an orange thin one. Roll that dude on there. There you go. The tube is assembled. Alright, y'all, that's it for this particular video. Whew, it was a long one, and I showed you everything. I mean, when you start dealing with aftermarket parts, you run into issues like clearances and stuff like that, and you have to pay attention to it. Because if you get one with too much clearance, it'll wear out the bearings, or it'll just beat them to death. And even though this isn't going in a performance vehicle, I'm pretty sure it's going to get hammered on. So that's how I'm building it. And it'll still have good manners to it, let's put it that way. So if this is content that you liked, please make sure to smash that like button, and there's a subscribe button right there next to it. Hit that dude, and share it with your friends. Leave me a comment. All that stuff is important for the YouTube algorithm to pick it up and share it with other people, as I'm trying to grow the channel. With everybody that's a subscriber, thank you so much. For everybody that just watches the video, thank you very much. Please consider doing the previous. That being said, till next video, y'all have a blessed day. God bless you, God bless America, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.